not usually communicating effectively. We're not usually in our best state of mind to even be making decisions. But because we told ourselves, you can't quit, you can't give up, you can't just let it go. We got all this baggage. We not communicating right. We not thinking clearly. We are burnt out ourselves, but we still gonna try to push past this thing that has come to a stop or this thing that is ending just for what? Us to crash and burn in the end. So what has been your experience with not accepting, like, this is done, this is canceled, this is changed, and then still pushing, trying to push past it?
Whew. So it's frustrating to even say out loud because it sounds stupid to me. When I resist, when I don't yield, it's like, okay, I know what I want the outcome to be.
Right.
Me resisting what the reality is, though, does nothing but keep me further from what I want my outcome to be. Honestly, even because I'm even down to the point where it's like I've learned to not attach what I want to people. I have learned to understand what it is I want. Like I don't have to want something attached to a person. Like I can want this, and it can just be whoever it's meant to be with, or if it's just solely supposed, this might be just something I need to experience alone. I'm learning. I'm learning just what I desire. So to get back to your question, when I do not yield, it keeps me and pushes me further and further away from what I really want. So,
bro, that is so deep. That is like I'm really sitting on that, because that is like, okay, go ahead.
No. Come on, because the last 3 weeks, all these unforeseen cancellations have had me here, have had me literally right here. That's why it's so crazy that we were talking about this, because I'm only at this point because of these things that keep happening abruptly, and I'm like, where's this stuff coming from? But me not just allowing it to fall apart, or me just not allowing it to run its course, it keeps me away from what I really want at the end of the day. But the moment I yield, the moment I just say, clearly God is having this happen for a reason. It's not working. It needs to be changed. The time needs to be different for whatever reason. When I just let it flow, literally what I want comes creeping around the corner, not too far after. Like I'm not exaggerating in no way, shape, or form. When I yield, it's smooth. Now, I'm not saying it always feels good, but the transition is smoother. So it's like, it's frustrating for me to say out loud. When I don't yield, when I resist, it just keeps me further away from what I want. And then in hindsight, again, like we do, I'm back looking like, so for 3 months, I sat there and did X, Y, Z, when I could have just let that shit fall apart and got what I wanted 3 weeks later, or however long later. It doesn't work. So I don't even know why.
I was going to say, I don't even know why we do that to ourselves in general. I feel like we ask this question every episode. Like, why do we even be doing this? Like, why do we even get to that point where it's just like, no, like, I'm just not accepting this. Like, I'm just gonna like push past all of these flags. I'm pushing past all of this stuff that I know is wrong, and I'm just gonna be like, all right,
no,
like, what I'm supposed to do next? Like, ma'am, no,
nothing. Don't do nothing. Let it go.
Like, just like cut it. Okay.
Why do you think it's so hard though? Why do you think it's so hard to just be like, I'm not going to do anything. I'm going to let what's happening just happening because it's happening for a reason. Like, why do you think that is?
This goes to the conversation we had before we started recording. Somewhere along the lines of us growing up, being in society, we were taught that you do not give up on stuff. You do not quit.
Yes.
If it's people that you love, you are supposed to work stuff out. Literally, it's almost like nobody tells you how to live in the middle. It's either, you don't have these kind of people around you, or you need to, let this kind of stuff go. Or you have to like work it out. But like, what is the middle ground? Like, okay, I hear you. stay away from this, stay away from this. If I see this, don't like, okay, my daddy was notorious for, he always drilled into me about waiting to have sex. And he always talked to me about men who were abusive or signs of men who are abusive in relationships. So it's always this, leave, if they hit you once, they'll hit you again. So, okay, I got it. This is what I don't do. Then on the other hand, I go to him with these relationship problems, and he used to tell me, sometimes if the shit was stupid, he'd be like, well, why are you even dealing with that? Right. Then it was like this, okay, well, work it out, or y'all can have a conversation. I feel like nobody teaches us the middle ground. Like, how am I supposed to operate if this is not something that, I can keep working through, but it's not necessarily like, I don't know if I'm just supposed to cut this off and like, let it go. We're not taught to operate. And when we have to figure stuff out, it's either like you carry your ass too soon or you work it out.
It's so like, I feel like they don't teach
nobody tells us that. When have you ever been taught just sit and think about it? And nobody teaches us that. Like, and then it's always, especially in the Black community, and I get it because it's rooted in slavery and stuff. We are always taught to fight through. Like, we literally are like, that is like preached, ingrained. Every freaking thing is you fight through stuff. So I feel like we apply that in the worst way to all aspects of our lives. Like, we just think, okay, I'm supposed to fight through this. I'm supposed to work through this. This is my family. This is my friend. This is my relationship. I'm supposed to fight. I'm supposed to work. We have fear about starting over. I hate change, so I don't like to start over.
Same.
So I think a lot of it is fear too, but I think we grow up hearing the same thing over and over again of, certain people get a pass, or you're just supposed to work this out, but nobody really teaches us, like, what does that look like when I'm in a situation? Like, you giving me this advice, but like, how do I do that?
Exactly. Woo. I think that's it there. We're not taught to be still. We're not taught to just, you might not need to respond at all right now. You don't need to react at all right now. Kind of just let this thing, a lot of stuff works itself out, honestly. But we just feel like we have to, if we ain't putting our hands on it in some type of way, then
control.
Yeah.
Ego.
That's all it is. Ooh, when I say ego death, y'all, I don't know if anybody else has been experiencing that in 2020, but when I say I have been experiencing the ego death since probably May, it has been insane. Freaking insane. But
I feel like I say that damn word on every episode too. Like, for like, literally, it, like, I get the purpose that it serves, but man, if that damn thing don't be like like legit causing like real life problems, like, why are you even doing that? Like, can you not for a second? Can you just like be like, why are you doing that? Like, ego is just, yeah, that joint be like off the chain, like just all by itself, and we just be there like, all right, this is what we doing.
Just, cool. Just basking in it. This is what we gonna do.
And be wrong. And be so wrong. So wrong. But yeah, I don't know. I feel the same way you feel. I feel like it's so many times I've looked back and been like, if I just would have like not said nothing, if I just didn't do anything, stuff either would have been fine, or I would have got something of what I wanted to have anyway.
Right.
Because I usually see that come full circle now. Like, it's been like people or situations where I just let shit be. I didn't say anything. And it's like, once they come back around, it's like, oh, okay, this is why this worked out this way. But yeah, them ones that you try to control the situation, or you're like, okay, but how am I supposed to work this out? They always end up being a hot ass mess.
For sure. I agree 100%. 110%. Shoot.
Yeah, any other advice for our listeners? Because this really, like, I told Shimon before we started, I was like, yeah, I'm probably gonna have to do a whole lot of listening, because that reacting, I feel like it's hard to get under control. I feel like it's hard to not just be like, oh, XYZ happened, like, all right, let's go. Like, I feel like we are literally always on, well, what am I supposed to do next? Like, we literally have no chill, like none. Like, we have zero chill. It's always, all right, bet. Like, okay, so what's next?
And we get it a little worse because, again, we're on top of being fixed, we're fire signs. Like, what you mean, calm down? What you mean, don't do nothing? What do you mean? And then we're Leos. So we already, girl, I just be like, I'd be like, God, why did you, at a time as such as now, you thought this is, I mean, you know better than me. So I ain't even gonna sit here and try to be like, so that's what you thought was best, because it is, because you always be right. But I just be like, you couldn't have gave me a little bit of, like, where's the balance? Like, I don't, so I didn't even give the advice because I'm still just relating.
Because I be the same way in my prayer. I just be like, but like, girl, I know God be sick of me, because I literally would ask him. I'd be like, no, I need something else though, because I'd be like, I feel like what this information, I'd be like, this not enough.
No, like it's no way. There's no way this is it. Like, I hear you,
yeah, like,
but no.
Girl, like, I literally like be driving in the car praying. I just be like, God, like I don't know what you want me to do. Like, I'm like, I need a clear sign or something. But this stuff you're giving me, like, yeah, I don't know what you want me to do with this.
Like, so he'd be like, that's it. Like, that's literally it.
Shawana, and I just be like, but how?
What you mean? Like, it just, but that right there, if I could give you any advice, don't do that. What we talking about right now, because it just, this shit just is not effective. It's like, and then while we sitting here asking questions, we just wasting time. While we sitting here like, okay, but we not doing nothing but continue, like, we ain't doing nothing productive except asking, because no, like, okay, all right, God, that's what you said.
I'm weak because the overthinker in me is like, yeah, bitch, I'm gonna ask a question till I run out of questions to ask, because I need to know. Like, I have so many questions and I need them answered. So,
and we don't get them answered, but we keep asking.
It's so unproductive.
We won't.
That is the problem. It's not what we want to hear. It's not the vision we had in our head. So here we are again, like, yeah, but no, that little internet could shit. Okay. I'm gonna keep trying. I don't know. I think, yeah, if I could leave anybody with anything, it's just, really, honestly, y'all, once you start working on that child inside of you, I feel like a lot of stuff gets better. But a lot of us want to skip over that. A lot of us like to act like that little person don't exist. And it's just kind of like, until we start recognizing our triggers and what's a trauma response and what is literally that child inside of us trying to either defend itself or fight off whatever is going on, like we always be saying, we're gonna end up in the same stuff again. So I really feel like, to deal with stuff ending and being over and abruptly changing, you kind of gotta just go with it and see what happens. But yeah, I definitely go back to your reacting versus responding, because I feel like most of us do that. I mean, it's not that we want to, we're kind of conditioned that way. We just go, and then shit is messed up, and then it's like, oh my God, like, how did I get here? So yeah, my advice would be, talk to that little person inside of you. Go to therapy, help somebody find out what that little person inside of you needs, wants, is still holding on to. And once you resolve that, I feel like stuff gets a lot better.
I agree. And so a lot of unlearning that needs to go forth. And like Brittany said, we advocate therapy. Like, we advocate therapy to no end. But for those who may not have access to therapy, I do recommend something called shadow work. And if you would like to hear more about that, you can follow my My Daily Oracle page on Twitter is Everything PDL.
Yes.
I've just recently started talking more about shadow work because I'm really like knee deep in it right now. And when I say that it's something that anybody can do, it's not hard, it's intense. It is going to take you there. It's going to take you to places that you may have had buried and didn't even know that you had buried. But when I say the benefits from it are very helpful, I do recommend that. So if you want to hear more about that, you can follow my social that social media page. I'm very vocal up there about it. I get a lot of DMs on a daily about it, and I can send you little tools that I have that I use. So or you can even go on YouTube and just look up, beginner shadow work and just see what it's about. But it just talks about the little person we keep hidden from the time that we're young, and how we respond to authority, going back to the first times you've ever felt neglected, or just any feeling that we like to keep hidden. And it caused you to go back and look and just write out when the first time this happened. Why did I feel this way? How come, what was my response then, and what should it be now? It is very, very helpful. So yes, I recommend that.
Oh, ma'am.
So if nothing else, again, we are always super excited to have you guys. We thank you for listening. We thank you for always being supportive. If share if this resonates with you, send it to somebody who might need it. Follow us on social media.
This is a learning experience for me.
Okay, we going through this, y'all. We can talk about this because we're living this. Like
and we are not scared to talk about it.
No, not at all. We don't bring y'all nothing that we ain't going through ourselves. So understand, like, I can even sit here and smile and laugh about this stuff because I was probably crying and mourning about it not too long ago. So yeah.
Same.
So that has been this episode of Brown Skin Blueprint. We can't wait to have y'all next time, and enjoy the holidays.
See y'all later.